Hello and welcome, Exiles, to the Day 2/3 update of the Righteous Fire Trickster. Now, to start off with, I have to say, I do love recombinators still. We did basically the majority of our crafting for our gear on this character with recombinators. They are cheap for the amount of power you get out of it. Just this helmet, this shield, this belt, this ring, this body armor. This is all stuff I made with recombinators. The technique I employed that most successfully was either to try to get two cheap fracture mods together and then craft with essences, and that's what I did with my ring and my belt, or B, just take an item with 2 to 3 good mods and another item with 2 to 3 good mods, smash them together, and maybe you'll get 4 or 5 good mods together, which is a kind of just a complete item. Moral of the story is, that's the crafting recommendation I have for you guys, and I would also recommend going for spell suppress on the shield, on the helmet, and on the body armor. If we get the spell suppress there, and then spell suppress from this wheel, we will be spell suppress capped. I still need to get it on my body armor, so I'm missing a little bit, but that'll mean spells deal 50% less damage to us, which is a huge defensive layer to the character. We also had to end up getting this reservation cluster, or the aura cluster, because I thought I'd have enough reservation space between a Eldritch Implicit and the reservation efficiency from Essence of Loathing. Unfortunately, that was just barely shy of being able to swap Purity of Elements for Purity of Fire and Grace, but now that we have this wheel, we were able to make that swap, and the aura effect from this wheel is significant. It's about 35%. It makes our Grace, our Determination, that much stronger and gives us an extra max res for our Purity of Fire. Currently, we're sitting at 85 max fire res. We can get this all the way to about 88, 89 max all res for elemental, fire, lightning, and cold, but that's when we get melding of the flesh and brutal restraint to the build. These two items right now are expensive. I expect them to continue to drop significantly in the coming days, which means we can then pick those up and get our resistances really capped up, really resistant against elemental damage. And then the last big upgrade I should mention that we want to go for is Legacy of Fury. These boots are so expensive right now due to how many people are playing Inquisitors. It's actually a very common drop from Maven, so I'm probably going to go try to farm the boots myself just so I can put them on and then enjoy smooth, just really buttery smooth mapping. It makes mapping so much better. We also did a bit of a tree repathing in order to get more jewels into the build. My jewels aren't great, but I think they're just barely good enough to justify going for a cluster instead of the other pathing I had before, where they're just 3 stats with life, burn damage, and then a res affix. Eventually, we would like to upgrade these into better damage jewels, but I don't think I'm going to play the life-based character that crazy hard to where I want to go get a fractured life jewel and then craft with scorched fossils and do that shenanigans. I am going to be switching this character into energy shield base. I think we'll do one more series of upgrades to the life base to get to the point where we can take down things like Uber Elder, Maven consistently. But for right now, I just want to focus on energy shield base after that. I don't want to take it beyond that. This build is ultimately, the vision is for an energy shield based character, and I need to start working towards that. I just want to get this character to the point where we can take on most endgame content, farm the currency, and then the next video after that will be about energy shield base. So that's the plans for the character. I have a T16 park map, and I'll go ahead and showcase that for you guys just to see what it looks like doing just some rare T16s in the current setup. We're level 92 as a Trickster. Most of the day, I actually spent in my hideout screwing around with recombinators because I wanted to make new gear, and I had a lot of fun with it, but it also meant I didn't progress my level. I started out today as like a level 90 or 91, and I ended today at a 92 because I didn't really start mapping until the very end of the day, and I'm already very tired and ready to go to bed. So hopefully we can showcase what this looks like for you. I've also been screwing around with Sentinels. Sentinels, I think the way to farm recombinators, I've farmed about 15 at this point. You need to get Sentinels that have the affix chance to drop Sentinel reward. That is what the recombinators fall under. So if you're able to press that or find items with that affix on them, then you can start dropping recombinators, which I've tried to get recombinators with that, and they'll also drop additional sentinels, and they'll drop additional power cores and stuff like that. But the main juice is we really want more recombinators because it makes crafting just such a better experience, so to speak, These guys look a little bit juiced. Makes me scared of them, or at least cautious of them, you know. I'll just pop my last use of the Pandemonium here. I'm not too certain whether or not I like Pandemonium or Apex Sentinel more, but for right now, from my experience so far, it's been that Pandemonium is the second best, Stalker is by far the best, and then Apex seems less good. But I haven't used Apex that much, so I still should probably test it a little bit more than what I have currently done to this point in the character, I would say. Stalker's basically you just get to activate it whenever, and it's just more juicy loot while you're actually going through the zone. Alright, so this is the boss fight of this map, so let's try not to screw this up too bad. If we can. And I have Maven on this. I meant to do this map as Eather or during Exarch, but I accidentally had Maven because I just did an Eradicator before this, so I was trying to get that for an invitation. So tomorrow the goal will be to do some boss fights, do things like Maven, try to farm ourselves a Legacy of Fury, do things like 4-way invitations, maybe try to get a Shaper, maybe an Uber Elder if we can get the fragments. That's my plans for the character. Farm some currency for life-based, and then move towards the energy shield base, because that is the end goal of the character. That's where this character really takes off, in my opinion, based on the plan I have in my head. So hopefully we can get there. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching, Exiles. Take care.